Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Shauna. Let's get into this. So, I am late recording, so don't pay me no mind because I am late. I apologize. I'm human, okay? I am human. But, no, we are not talking about nitrogen tonight. I want to talk about the ability to release. Oftentimes we think that we have soul ties, but once you are aware that you are in a situation you need to disconnect from, it is no longer a soul tie, it's an attachment. Okay? And you have to be willing to admit to yourself that you indeed need to find a healthy way to build yourself up. Most of the time, you might feel the need to experience things with other people, but in order for you to grow and develop and mature spiritually, there's going to be some things you might have to do alone, and you have to be willing, or it's going to be like pulling teeth. It's going to be really hard for you to connect and safely align. And when I say safely, I mean when there's things you have to do, and I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about all of us, right? When there are things you have to do, you have to be willing to allow yourself to grow before you get where you're going. And you can't be afraid to let people go. And we talked about this in so many ways, but I think spiritually, we don't know how to disassociate. And sometimes people can have their energy latched onto you. Hence the reason why it's important to not take things from people. I think especially when they're insistent. And I was told that when there's too much flattery, right? Sin is not far behind. So some people are going to be willing to hold you captive, knowing that you want to be released. Okay? So you need to pay attention. When you see people constantly, nagging you, running behind you, always trying to lift you up and not the Most High, pay attention to that. Be wary of people who are contingent and consistent with the idea that they need to stay attached to you, especially when you guys haven't even put enough time in to even have that kind of rapport. Now, I understand history, being familiar with people, but you have to be careful because of what? Familiar spirits, right? You know when someone is for you deep down inside. And we talked about this. This is following your instincts, being in tune and being obedient. Because it's one thing to have the instinct and the intuition, but to actually use it is another. And again, you have to be willing. That is the key. And if you don't know how, of course, you can fast, you can pray, you can beg God to give you everything, but you have to want it. And that's something that I'm personally dealing with, really making sure that I'm not fucking crazy. And so far, I don't think I'm fucking crazy. Like, I'm just saying. Alright, so there's a lot of things going to be changing rapidly. You have to be able to keep up. Not everybody's going to understand. Not everybody's going to like it. The people that do understand, and that are God sent, are going to be favorable. Like, you don't have to worry about being lost or confused or guided incorrectly. or indirectly. Some people will consciously make a decision to hold you up. Remember that. And you have to be willing to ground yourself enough to know when the release is necessary. You have to know a healthy way to do it. And you have to be willing to be respectful and conscientious and empathetic and not disagree with the idea, but accept it for whatever it is. Accept it. I'm sorry, I got a phone call. Accept it for whatever it is and be willing to ground yourself in that and be okay with it and stand on it. Don't be sad. Don't feel sad. Don't feel like you're doing something wrong if you are being guided and constantly reminded that you need to go the other way. Being around the wrong people can have you in situations you shouldn't be in. It's not always the influence. See, a lot of times we think it's, this person's a bad environment, they're a bad influence on me. Sometimes being with the wrong person can place you at the wrong location at a time where you should in fact be somewhere else. You have to be willing to recognize when you're doing something wrong. Our flesh is going to always want something. Your job is to learn how to hone in on the things that need strengthening, and you nurture them. Whatever is therapeutic to you. Remember, we discussed healthy releases. Working out, reading, resting, praying, fasting, writing, listening to music, painting, whatever it is that you do that will make you feel good. It's not always about getting high and drunk, because we can keep using those substances to say, because I'm dealing with a lot of shit, but we all know the problem is not going nowhere, and we're constantly poisoning ourselves, and we're also convincing ourselves that this currency we're wasting is therapeutic. And when I say currency, I mean the money and the time and the energy that we're wasting on being high and drunk and wasting just time when you could be doing something that's directly correlated to your assignment. I am guilty. I'm not separate from that. All right? I'm not separating myself. This is something we need to actively work on immediately, or we're gonna get left behind, y'all. We're going to get left behind if we don't start really taking it serious. Because if you look around, you have rent you can barely afford. You have jobs that barely want to hire you. You have neighbors that barely look like you. You have schools that's barely teaching your kids. And you're barely in tune with yourself. So again, you need to be willing to make the investment on releasing things that have attached themselves to you. Because we talked about releasing things to progress, but sometimes things attach themselves to us, and we need to be willing to shake them off without fear, without hesitation, with clarity, because sometimes you can release the wrong things, right? The devil will do that. The devil will make you think that something is not for you, and he will have you release it and open yourself up, if you're vibrating low enough, to something that is totally out of alignment. So again, what do you think is this spiritual component to releasing things? You open yourself up to what God wants for you if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes when you not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you'll still get blessed, just because that's how God is. Because he loves us like that. He's like that. right? God will still bless you when you're fucking up. When I tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've been disobedient and still got blessed, because God is not human. He's forgiven like that. But the thing is, actively working, you have to be willing to honestly invest. Be honest with yourself about what is healthy, what is not. The things you need to work on, because a lot of times we point fingers and blame people, and we're like, oh, you're toxic. But what are you? Let's start doing a little, more thorough self-evaluations. I have a lot of things that I know the Creator wants me to do, and I can work on all of the other things that needs to be worked on, but if I don't make room, aka release things, if I don't make room, and people think that means like, cutting people off. It could be a mindset. It could be a spirit. It could be a place. Right? These can be habits. This doesn't have to always be people. But in the spirit world, right? Whatever it is that you need to release, when you don't, you're delaying yourself. And you have to really know how to ask for help. I'm gonna fast. And I know I'm probably not supposed to say that out loud and whatnot, but yeah, I'm gonna do a fast. I'm not gonna tell y'all when, but I'm gonna do a fast so I can find out what's next for some things that I was trying to plan. And I really want to help. I really want to be of service. I really want to be useful to my community. But the issue with that is that my community don't like me. So I have to go and help other people. I have to go and be willing to help people that may not look like me. Because people that I'm familiar with or that I know feel the need to bring me down. And I'm not just saying me, all of us. Like, that's just me saying from my personal experience. I want to be of service and I want to help. But I might have to release the idea and the mindset that I can save everybody. There, I said it. I said it, y'all. I got to release that. And I don't want to, but I have to, because I know that shit is going to kill me if I'm always trying to do something for other people and not for myself. And God got on me about that, and I was always trying to figure out, like, why people like to shit on me and do X and Y and Z. And then I was like, oh, because I'm doing it to myself. I'm showing people that I'm okay with the bare minimum and giving them the maximum. So they take the maximum without even thinking that maybe they should reciprocate the maximum as I would do to them, or as I would do them, right? So this release is not just physical, it's spiritual. It's your understanding of you, yourself, your life, your perception. All of that shit needs to be shed to see some real changes. And I think I want to do like a little challenge. I'm going to do a challenge to really challenge myself and whoever is in my circumference for us to be better. Shit, if you have a challenge, let's do it. Let's go. And let's really stick to it and get our discipline up. Alright, but I do love y'all. I hope all is well. I'm going to end it here, okay? And I hope y'all are drinking y'all water and eating y'all fruit and minding y'all business and sipping y'all tea, because it's free. Okay? And I want y'all to take care of yourselves. And I'm mad because I left my stuff. But whatever. Don't even matter. Oh, man. Alright. I love y'all. And make sure y'all getting y'all rest. Alright? Love y'all. Peace.